Test 1, 2.
1 1
One, yeah.
1 2
One,
1.
yeah.
What was that?
Okay. Welcome back.
Welcome
Oh.
back.
Okay.
Bienvenidos. Bonjour.
Oh no.
That's what your dad always says.
I know. Okay, so in today's episode, we will be talking about basically our roots. We ate that up. Okay.
Blame it on my roots.
See, that makes
Showed
sense
up
that
in
he
boots.
would sound like that. Okay, so you guys know me. I am half Mexican, half Guatemalan. My mom is Guatemalan and my dad is Mexican.
Hold on, because the kids say that they're half watermelon because of that.
Yeah, they do.
I'm telling
I'm fluent in Spanish and in English. So I come from a Hispanic household. Naya.
I'm black. I don't know who my dad is.
Dang!
So it couldn't tell you. I could be mixed for all I know.
I can see
But-
this man walking down the street. Sorry to this man.
My mom was black, but my grandma is mixed. So I'm a little bit white somewhere in there. I only speak English
And
and hood rat.
okay, Seth.
I am half Asian and half
We could believe it with
No.
the
You
hooded.
could, because he has hooded
my
eyelids.
eyes
Look
are
it up.
Asian and the rest of me is very white. I've had multiple people ask me if I'm Asian before.
It's the hooded eyelids, and I'm
Yeah.
not trying to be racist.
No, and they're
That's
very
really-
squinty. And like when I smile, like, are my eyes open? I can
No.
see you, but
Oh.
can you see me?
No.
You know? No, I'm American. I'm Caucasian mostly, but my grandpa was half Native American actually.
There it is. Where were you born?
Right here in the armpit of Southern Illinois. That's the never mind. No, my great grandma was full blooded Cherokee, and so like I'm what a 16th now, so I'm basically white. But there's actually a lot of Native American heritage in my family. My aunt does like genealogy and all that, and she
Cool.
has like Claudia. She does like all the Native American names and history and all that genealogy stuff.
Well, that's crazy. Naya, where were you born?
I was born in Carbondale, Illinois.
Were you really? I was born in Santa Paula, California. That sounds so awesome. Thank you, Jesus.
Why does it matter where you're born? You're stuck here in Murfreesboro with the rest of us.
Yeah.
And you wanted it.
Okay.
So we live in Southern Illinois,
That's
which
awful.
is like the south of the north. Like we're in the north. We're not Southern. We don't have Southern accents.
No.
We have,
Some people think that we do.
but we
Yeah.
don't. We don't have Southern accents, but we also don't have like full Northern
You
accents
guys
either.
do have an accent. I
we
will
have
say that.
we have like slight Midwest accents. I feel like because
Yeah.
like we're not totally Minnesota,
Ooh.
but we're also not Kentucky, which is
Thank
only
you.
45
I'm sorry
minutes
to all you
south
that
of
are
us.
and love that, but
Yeah, no shade
I
to
feel
your
like
accent, but man,
I met a black person that sounded like that, and I was like,
That's crazy. Yeah.
black people do
Okay.
not look like they should sound like that.
but all the black people from around here have a very heavy like hood rat accent.
Yes.
You don't, thank God, and except when you talk
Wait.
like it.
You're racist.
No,
Yeah.
no, I'm just saying like a lot of them like they do it on purpose.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
because I'll
Well,
hear them talk. And
If
they'll
I did it on purpose,
they'll
then
like
I
code
would.
switch, you know, like you can talk normal and then they.
I
slip
kind
into
of
that.
grew up like whitewashed, but not because of like my mom or anything.
You
just
grew
'cause,
up around
like,
the
I
church a
chose-
lot though too.
Yeah,
yeah,
I chose to be like that.
yeah. So obviously 3 very different backgrounds.
Very different.
But we all, when we come together, it just makes sense.
It does.
Yeah. So, what are some things that you grew up like in your household, rules in your household that you dealt with, and then let's talk after that how we will be parenting our own children. Like, what will we pass on? What will we keep? What will we get rid of?
I
Parenting
was
styles.
raised growing up anywhere, anytime. If there was a cop, you hide. What about you guys?
That's a wild. Never in my life.
Oh yeah.
Not really, but I remember one time I was in the back seat laying down and my mom was driving, so I didn't have a seatbelt on or anything, and she got pulled over and she was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, like freaking out. Like every black person thinks when they get pulled over they're gonna get shot.
Oh.
So that's kind of like,
That's crazy because one time I got pulled over and I told him I had an upset stomach and he was like, all right, go home. He asked why I
Well,
was
like,
speeding and I was like, I need to go poop.
even if someone else is driving, like Noah got pulled over one time when I was with him, and I was like,
Oh yeah.
they're literally gonna shoot me, and
Yeah.
he's gonna be okay. Like, I don't know. Like,
I'm just gonna drag you out of the car and shoot you.
and like I was just, and then like he like was reaching into his middle console to get his insurance card or whatever, and I was like, Noah, take your hand out of there. They're gonna think you're grabbing a gun. So like I was just thinking that they're gonna kill me.
Yeah, for me, I thought that we were gonna get deported, which makes no sense. But
It doesn't make any
back
sense.
then, it made clear.
That's crazy.
sense.
And those are things that just household. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that's wild. So a big thing when we got married was how I speak to my parents.
Oh yeah, that was a culture shock for me for sure.
So, okay. I think even though from me to my siblings is very different because my siblings were still raised very like strictly like you respect your parent when you talk to them, yada, yada, yada. I was the baby of the family born much later in
like
life.
20 years after everyone else.
No, not 20 years. It was like 9 years still, which is a lot.
Like 100 years.
But I was
Well,
born
20 years
way
after
later than all my
Brady.
siblings. I basically grew up alone, like as an only child, basically, because they were all so much older. But my parents raised me different than the rest of my siblings. Like they raised me to be very open-minded and to, like, I could always talk back, like not in a disrespectful way of like,
It was disrespectful, man.
yeah, to you. I understand that, but like
Okay, I need
I
an
was
example.
allowed to, huh?
I need an example so I can determine if this was.
So, like, say I didn't take out the trash. Seth, you didn't take out the trash. Yeah, but I was busy, Mom. You know that I was busy. I had to go to school, and I just got home. I'll do it now. Like, we could have adult conversations. We always did. Like, we just talked back and forth. Like, we argued. Everything.
You argued?
Yeah.
He would like raise his voice, and I was just like, "What?"
That's literally how I was raised. And, like, we just talked. Like, I wasn't.
I guess that's a healthier way.
I don't know. I don't think so. Like, now that I have children, I don't know that it is. Because I don't know. Maybe. I was.
I mean, like, not yelling at them, but, like, communicating with them.
Yeah, it
Like,
was.
I wasn't really allowed to communicate. It was kind of just like, you're going to do whatever
Okay,
I
but
say.
here's the thing. And this is where I found it twisted. I never talked back to my parents, and my siblings did. So I never got. We'll talk about discipline later. I never talked back. So I was 18. I was engaged, and I still had a curfew of 11:30 at night. Seth didn't tell his parents where he was. He didn't have to. When he was coming back, and even if
To be fair, she asked me to. It's just.
and
it wasn't
if it
enforced.
got addressed, he'd be like, "I was out." Like always and Seth was not okay back then. So
I was depressed.
but still, like, you're not gonna tell me what to do and how to do it.
You
And
said that to them?
oh yeah,
Oh, yeah. No.
I was
No.
bad, but I hid a lot of my badness though. Like I probably would have had less freedom if they had known what I was out doing. Let's be honest.
probably.
I wasn't. This is not condoned behavior, but I was not good.
That's crazy.
But for me, it was like, I don't know. I don't know if it was just because like they were older later in life and they didn't want to deal with it, and they were
how
just like
old was your mom when she had you?
35.
Mine too.
I think my mom was like 32 when she had me.
Yeah, they were just like very chill. And like I know that I was different from the rest of my siblings because all my siblings would be like, I was never allowed to do that. You get to do anything you want. You get to, and I was just like, I just got here.
That's like the youngest in general, though, because I feel like they learn from the older siblings what not to do.
Yeah, for real.
And I feel like already. So also, like now being a parent, you raise all your kids different. Like,
Oh yeah, they're different.
there are
people.
some rules across the board for everyone, but like each one of them we have to raise differently. And I can see us already being more lax with Silas
Oh yeah.
than with the first two, because like you learn. It's like you learn some things are not worth a fight.
Yeah.
It's like there's some things I just know, like I could get all upset about this, or I could just be like, they're
But
kids.
then also like, and now being a mom, seeing that they're all three different, like Avery is so stubborn. Agnes is not like that.
Yes.
So I don't feel like I have to be as consistent or like, yeah, like just consistent with Agnes on some things as I do with Avery, because Avery, you cannot be not. He's just hard-headed. That's not going to get him anywhere in life. Encouraging that, like as a parent, you're harming your child. But that's
One strong word, Agnes is in tears.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
she's
You
red.
could yell at Avery till you're blue in the face, and he'll literally shut you out.
He'll literally laugh.
And
in your
I don't
face.
want that, because I know that like at a certain age, boys begin to just harden and shut down and like not resist, but like tune out their parents. And so I'm dreading that day. So I try to stay communicative with him as much as possible.
Okay.
So a big thing in mine was I felt like a lot of times, like even with the freedom to talk to my parents like that, I felt like I was not heard. I could say it, and I wouldn't even get trouble for saying it, but I didn't felt like I was heard until we started dating, and she would get in trouble for things at a whole 18 years old, and I'm like, you need to explain your side, and she's like, I'm not going to, like, they're not going to listen, or they're going to have their own opinion. And I'm just like, my justice mind over here
feel
was like
kind of in the same way that you said, like at parenting, some things are not worth the fight. I feel like as a kid, you're like that too, because it's like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's gonna be their way, so it's not worth the fight.
Yeah, and like going, like I remember growing up and like specifically getting older and doing my own thing and like being with you, like there were some times that they would go off, but I knew growing up with them that they weren't necessarily like upset with me. I probably got like the worst end of it, but my siblings were terrible. So then they were just trying their best. So no, I wasn't gonna give them a hard time over that. Okay, discipline.
I had none. And
Okay, but did your parents discipline? Like, did they?
when I was younger, I got some whoopings, but I probably got like less than 10 whoopings in my whole life.
I never got whooped.
I didn't get whooped a bunch. Like a lot of stuff, I learned from my sister not to do because I was
did
younger.
A lot of that, but it wasn't just learning what not to do. It was learning how not to get caught for me. Like if I wanted to do that, I just knew like, well, you can't get caught because you'll get in trouble. And I think a lot of that feeds into my being a 3 and like the perception of me. But there was discipline, there was rules to follow.
Okay, but
I
what
don't
I'm
feel like
saying-
they were enforced as much.
What I'm saying is, did your mama and daddy tear your siblings or you up?
Siblings, yes, me,
Oh
no.
yeah.
I remember I don't remember my brother ever getting whooped, and he's the youngest. But I remember my sister getting tore up.
Ion got tore up.
She had like a rebellious streak at like 17.
Dang.
Where she did, and like I kind of learned from that. And so literally the only time I ever did was like if I peed the bed or something.
Oh,
So like it was
Agnes.
stupid stuff like that.
No, my mama and my daddy beat them, and I was so petty back then that like if they were mean to me or whatever, I would go up to them and be like, "Hey, they hurt me," and then they'd get tore up.
That's
Okay, but
crazy.
also, and this is another thing I've learned as being a parent, not every type of discipline works for every child. So like again, Agnes, a stern word, she is set straight. Avery, you might have to get a spoon and whip his butt.
Okay, but
In
that
order to
now,
get him listen.
it's not even doing nothing to him.
Yeah, he's so strong-willed.
He's tough
So
to guide.
He really is.
for me,
It's you.
a whipping did nothing for me, and I think they figured that out because like I remember the last time my dad whipped me, I was just like, okay, are we done? And I like walked out. I was probably like 9 or
He
something.
probably felt
And I was just like,
crazy.
all right then. But then they found out that like grounding me from things, specifically music, like they would ground me from being able to play music. Gone. I'd do whatever they
crazy.
wanted me to do. So I think it's just like finding what sort of discipline works for that sort of child. Like, I think Brandy, my oldest sister, was the same way. Like very like Agnes, like dad, I think whipped her like a few times, and she was like.
I remember like one time my dad told me that he was disappointed in me, and that wrecked my world. Like,
I think a big thing is if you learn maybe love languages of your children, that might affect. Because I know like with Avery, he is very quality time. So when we want something, a better reaction out of him, the more quality time we spend with him, like the better of a child he is.
yeah.
Which is crazy. I mean, it's not crazy. It's not that far fetched. Like they're humans
Right.
too.
I also feel like another reason Agnes is so good is because her love language is not hard to fulfill. Cause like she's a pretty little girl.
Yeah.
Like she gets told that she's beautiful like every day by everybody.
I
So
don't think hers is words of affirmation though. I think hers is physical touch.
Hers is physical touch and
it
words of
might be
affirmation.
because
It's
she
both of 'em,
she hugs me a lot.
She's very touchy
She's
feely.
very
She always wants
touchy.
to be held. She always wants to cuddle and things like that.
And also, like, she speaks that language. Like, if
You can
Silas
tell.
will let her baby him, oh, she's in heaven. She's just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, let me fix your hair. She's a perfect little girl,
Yeah.
man.
Whereas Avery, it's always like, hey, Dad, will you do this with me? Hey, will you spend time with me?
Yes.
Hey, will you do this? And Silas, obviously, we're still figuring out. But he
Silas is bad.
Silas
man.
is just different.
Silas, I think, is also very, as of right now, he's physical touch.
Oh,
He
yeah.
loves to be cuddled. He loves that stuff. But it could change.
Oh, right now, he's going to be 3 on Monday, June 3rd.
That's crazy.
Okay. I need you, mommy. Oh, yeah, I'm out. I'm out. Okay, let's talk about foods. What was the one thing? What was the one thing that your mom made? Your favorite breakfast, lunch, and dinner meal that your mom made? Naya, go.
Mama, if you watching this, I'm
Um,
so sorry.
a breakfast is just like typical breakfast, like pancakes, eggs, bacon, sausage. Lunch, I literally only remember being at school for lunch, so yeah. And then dinner was like black people can make fried chicken really well.
I still have not had black people fried chicken.
That's because winter won't
And
make
I'm
nothing.
Bitter about it because I've been told that is different from any other fried chicken I've ever had.
It's bussin'. Like I don't think
I've
that
had
they
Mexican
follow
fried
a specific
chicken.
recipe. They just
I've had Mexican fried chicken, and it's incredible. Anyway, Mama, I'm sorry. I just don't like white people food. Like, I may be white, but my soul ain't white. I just believe it
my soul
100%.
ain't white.
like,
Mama at church, Mama and TT,
Uh-huh.
she's like, you white, but you ain't white, boy.
I think your mom can kind of like understand that though, because she likes different things
Yeah.
too.
I don't remember growing up and having a single food that like of anything else. And she would even attest to this, as she would be like, "What do you want for your birthday?" And I'm like,
It's
Like,
not
there was
even
nothing that
always
I really
just
liked.
white food. It's bland food.
yeah. And my mom and dad can't handle spice. They can't handle any stuff like that. And I just have always had, I guess, a taste for different types of foods. So I am big on flavor. So there was nothing growing up that I liked. I could tell you things I did not like. White people, whoever white person invented chili mac, I would like to have a word with you. That is disgusting.
Oh my gosh, when Seth told my dad, described to my dad what chili mac was.
No, it wasn't that. It was Mexican meatloaf.
Oh yeah.
When I first heard about that, I was like, "What?"
Okay, so first of all, please,
LOL.
please, if you're white and you grew up in a white household, tell me if you ever had this meal.
Oh.
You may call it something different. We call it Mexican
I've
meatloaf.
never heard of that until I got around white folk.
Doritos
Oh.
Yeah, that's your first mistake.
with like taco meat on top and then like lettuce, sour cream, tomato, cheese. Did anyone else have that? We called it Mexican meatloaf.
Oh no, somebody else that made it did it a little different. It was like all of that stuff, but like
Walking tacos?
no,
They
it was
called
like all of that stuff in a pan, like that you would make lasagna in or something, and all of that stuff with black beans.
Yeah,
and then,
the
like-
meat had beans in it.
Yes, but then like sliced processed cheese on top, melted. That's
the
disgusting.
American cheese
Yes.
on a Mexican
like
meatloaf.
the government cheese. Like, I'm sorry, man. I ain't never heard of that junk. That's some redneck.
Okay, well, I am sorry to the both of you because my mom was very fortunate to stay home with us. Well, she worked some. Sometimes, like, there were some episodes in my life for, like, a couple years where she would have a job and whatever. But, like, we would typically have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. My favorite breakfast would have had to be the chilaquiles with the fried eggs.
Oh my god, I'm out.
Explain.
It's like the tortilla, and then she makes like a sauce, like it's a tomato base.
It's like a spicy tomato sauce.
Yeah,
sort
and
of.
then she layered it with cheese, and then fried onions, fire with a fried egg. I hate beans. I hate beans. But she would always have those because my dad loves beans. My favorite to go anytime, there was always hot Mexican rice at home.
Oh my god, do you remember when we first started dating and I would beg you, please bring me rice. I know you have it in your house. Bring it to
Yeah,
me.
he would too.
I'm like, I know you make it every day. You could just bring me like a cup of it.
And then
And Jen still loves rice.
I love rice.
Rice is
man.
so good.
It's so hard to live a low carb life with rice. That's my downfall. And ramen. My other favorite breakfast was ramen when my mom made it for me, but she wouldn't let me have
Okay,
that all the
for
time.
context, she's not talking about like real ramen. She's talking about like
The Maruchan, yeah.
the little package.
Yeah, it's fire. Like, I'm sorry. And then my favorite like meals would have to be tamales. I love tamales.
I know that's the
I don't
one
like
Mexican
those.
food that I'm not crazy about.
Yeah, that's because you're not Mexican.
Except Guatemalan tamales.
Oh, those are fire too.
Those.
Okay, so
can
when
get
I
it.
come over there, do they usually make Guatemalan food?
No, that's Mexican food.
That's Mexican food.
Guatemalan food's actually kind of bland.
It is a little bit more bland,
Yeah.
So your mom had to like learn.
Yes, because when she first got married to Dad, I guess all she could make was black beans, and Mexican do the pinto beans, and he hated those black beans. He told her, "Don't ever give these to me again." So she had to find a lady and learn how to cook.
Oh, she learned.
She found a person.
Yeah, it ended up being her like best friend, and
That's awesome.
Yeah.
then
So, go ahead.
my other favorites would be pozole
Oh,
and menudo, which is not popular,
can't do.
but
menudo.
I love menudo to this day,
that?
man. It's like it's tripe.
Cow stomach. No, cow intestines.
Oh, and
I
then
thought it was
like
cow tongue.
That's lingua. So, when we got together, up to that point, probably right around then, I had started experimenting with like new foods and like by going out and eating. So like I was really into Mexican food, like from a Mexican
hold on,
restaurant.
pause. Your household, did you eat out or was there food at home?
Oh, we
We
always
never
ate
ate
out.
out.
We ate
There's
out.
food at home.
We
10
ate
times a
out
day.
like our mom would literally get paid and we would eat out and that was it for the month.
I think I remember
Mhm.
having McDonald's the first time when we were traveling here.
I had McDonald's every Sunday morning before church. Then we went out after church, and then we went out after Sunday evening service too. We would eat at home probably like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday was literally always chili. And then that meant Thursday was always chili mac. Sometimes Wednesday would be taco night, which would be Mexican meatloaf or white people tacos. And then Friday, Saturday, we were out again.
We would have Domino's pizza when my dad was watching us. And when we had Domino's pizza, my dad is very much so like, if he does something, he's going to get multiple. Because why just get a pepperoni? So, like, we would just have, like, pizzas of whatever we wanted. But then when my mom would find out that we ate pizza, she'd be like, no, I have to make them food. That's not food. She would go on a whole rant talking about how that wasn't nutritious and
Which is funny
we
because
weren't
my
gonna
mom says
grow.
that pizza has all the food groups in it so that it's very healthy.
That's crazy. crazy.
Yeah, my mom would throw a fit, but we liked it.
I
'cause
think
we
that's the
never
most
really
we
got
ever
that.
did too, was just like order pizza. I remember the first time I started my cycle. My mom thought it would never happen, so she ordered a bunch of pizza to celebrate.
My parents didn't get into pizza until I started working at a pizza place, and then it was pizza all
You
the
were
time.
so cute back then. Not that you're not cute now, but that was so cute.
Okay.
Wait, I have a question.
What?
Okay, so like I know, like Noah comes over sometimes to eat. I go over there to eat. Like, did you guys have like a shock going over to each other's house to eat?
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I was going to say earlier. When I started dating her, I was just starting to get into some different types of food and liking them. And then we started dating, and she started, like, the main thing I knew was rice. And I was just like, I know that's fire. Like, bring me that rice. And then I got invited over for dinner one night, and they made empanadas.
Bussin'.
And my big back ate 14 empanadas.
14.
Plus rice and sides and all that. I ate 14 empanadas that night.
Them.
And those, like, not tiny. Like,
You weren't even that fat then.
they're good size.
Oh, he got
But
fat.
immediately following thereafter, I gained 70 pounds. Because I ate so much food. And that's when I truly found my love for Mexican food. And I was just...
And listen, like, a Mexican household, Hispanic household, like,
there's always food.
there's always food. Not
A lot
only
of
that, it's just like my mom always tells me, like, there's nothing better than cooking for someone that's actually gonna eat.
And boy, did I.
And man, she would get so inspired, and she would cook, man.
Yeah, so she made me... I remember the day clearly, the day I had a torta from her. My life changed.
Oh, I remember, because she doesn't make tortas very often, because they're kind of, it's like a sandwich, but like it has like the carne asada on it.
It's got refried beans on
Yeah.
it, guacamole,
Oh, wait, I think I know.
tomato,
little-
lettuce, sour
it's
cream,
like a big old.
onions.
Like the shell thing.
Yeah,
where
it's
you
like it looks
put
like a
the-
football bread. No, I don't
Oh,
think that's what you...
Well,
It's a
anyway,
sandwich. It's like a bread
she-
sandwich.
She was like, "Do you think he would like one?" And I was like, "I'm sure,
I
Mom."
would like anything.
And he was like, "Well, tell him to come over, and I'll make some this day." And Seth literally was almost crying because he loved it so
So
much.
good. A
Yeah.
couple years ago for my birthday, they surprised me and did a carne asada, and I ate so much. I ate to the point. It was the 4th of July because my birthday's right around
Last
then.
year?
And
No,
this
it
was
was a
like
couple
4
years
years
ago.
ago or so, 3 or 4 years ago. It was during COVID because I remember some family members
Yeah.
couldn't come because they had COVID. So there was extra for me. I ate so much that I was laying outside on the ground on my back. I could not move.
That's glutton.
And I laid there until that feeling passed, and I got up and ate more.
Oh. Another one of my favorite things growing up was my mom's little ABC soup.
Oh, that jump's
It's
fire.
fire.
It's just like a tomato-based soup with the little ABC letters noodles in it.
Yeah.
But she always had like cilantro and onion and like lime
It's so
flavor
good,
in it.
man.
So good.
Okay, but you eating at his house.
Okay, so for me it was also a shock, but like I discovered really quickly that I was a picky eater. Like, not at my mom's house. My mom's house, I like everything that she makes, other than seafood. I can't have that. But like his house, like he would always tell me, like, you want to steer clear from that, or maybe not that, or whatever, just because I'm a picky eater. So yeah, I'm not a fan of much. And that's not me being ugly. It's just like chili is like a lot of what they eat. I hate beans. I don't care what type of beans it is. Don't give me no beans. White chili, hate it.
Yeah. I don't, there's not like, I guess the only American style foods that I like is like a good steak.
Yeah, and we love that. We'll eat that.
But like
Yeah.
steak, chicken, I like
when
regular
I
things
am
like
home
that.
for dinner, it's a lot of Mexican food,
yeah.
a lot of rice, a lot of steak.
It's usually, honestly, at our house, it's either steak or Mexican food.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty
we don't
much.
do many American style
Meatloaf
meals.
sometimes.
That's one American
Yeah.
meal that we do like.
I did like that. I
Yeah.
did like
Meatloaf
that.
is good.
That's crazy. We've all definitely had But Jen likes junk food
I do.
because she never had it. She
What
always
does
had
that
just
say?
like
Oh, I'm dying.
yeah. That's why I said let's wrap it up. She likes junk food, whereas I do not because I grew up on it. She never had it, so she thinks that's like really cool.
It's fire.
That must be why I eat out so much, because I didn't really get to. So now I be going ham.
Yeah, and then waiting for my mom to cook all her stuff, like, man. And then going through a drive-thru and it's there in like 2 minutes, unless you go to McAllister's. God forbid you go there.
So let us know in the comments, guys. How did you grow up? Did you guys eat out? Did you have strict parents?
Did you get tore up?
No parents?
What up with it?
Let us know your Scum origin story.
Scum roots.